Okay, hello. I wanted to do a very quick video about some of the things that have appeared in APItoolkit since the last month. I realized I haven't made these videos in ages already. And maybe we can just start from the options, the menu. So you can see that, we've had the Log Explorer for a while, but some new options. For example, we now have an API test feature, which I would show. And maybe the first thing in the API test is that you would be able to create these tests basically. So what a test is that you can call an endpoint, and then you can define assertions on the result of that endpoint. So an assertion is basically you saying, in this example, let me zoom in just a little bit. In this example, we are saying there would be an array. So it's drag and drop. There would be an array, and then there would be a completed field, and that completed field should be true. So we're using OK, and that's what this is. So I think this assertion is actually gonna fail. But yeah, that's basically what this feature is, and we can have a series of these tests. And of course, you can order them as you like. You can also see the code version of the test. So if this was a post to the same endpoint, you'd be able to see, it's a post request. So this is implemented based on this test kit project, which is open source. So you can run this test locally. And the whole idea of test kit is that you can write very expressive tests against your backend, and we're currently working on browser automation as well. But in any case, you'll be able to write very expressive tests, and you can convert this test into Cypress or any of those testing libraries, or just execute it as it is. So you can check out test kits. There's a lot of documentation, and it's a project I'm more proud of at the moment. So when you execute these tests, they are automatically logged in the Log Explorer. So I have a project which is configured to, it's just a to-do project which is configured to send traffic to APItoolkit. And so these outgoing requests are coming from the test. For example, this is the last test we just ran. So you can see the exact request that we made and the responses that we got, see completed, etc. Then okay, let me make this video not too long. Of course, you can see the body, the actual request body in your request. As always. What else should I show? So of course, as this is not a new feature, but you can see all the endpoints on the backend, on your backend which you are monitoring, including the traffic. This particular endpoint doesn't have much traffic, so let's go here. So you can see the throughput, the latency percentiles. This is a pretty fast endpoint. And then you can see the error rate. There's no error rate in this particular project, but if there was, you would see it, as well as this is just one endpoint, so you would see, maybe if we go here, we can see it better. Yeah, but usually you would see all the requests from the different endpoints aggregated. So this is a local or simple test project. The other thing that we've been working on a lot, I can't show you this in here, but I can show you locally. I think I should have mine. My bad. Yeah. So I can show you on my local machine. So what the other things we've been working on has been the error monitoring, and what that means is that APItoolkit would automatically catch. I mean, you have to configure it in your code as well, but it would catch all the exceptions and errors in your backend and aggregate them in this issues page. So you can see, so you see some of the issues here are just change log items, so new fields. So here now I can see the fields that were added in this endpoint, but also error exception. This is an EOF error, and I can come to events to see the exact request that triggered this particular exception in my code, which is useful if I want to debug it. And if you go to the log explorer again, you can see this as well. So you see this, these are the requests that had that particular error. And of course you can search by all these things. So if I want to search for this, I can say let's filter all the error requests that had this particular error message, and that has filtered it down to these. Yeah, so APItoolkit is the platform where if you have a backend and you want to know when things have broken, things have changed, you just come to APItoolkit. We automatically detect a lot of changes, but then you can also define this API test. And the next step of the work we're doing is that this API test would be generated automatically for you based on your Swagger. And remember that we're able to, generate Swagger just based off the traffic that we are monitoring. So you don't need to write your OpenAPI Swagger anymore, because we automatically detect that. And now we use that Swagger to generate tests, which you can execute, and you can schedule this test and say, okay, run this test every day or every minute as you wish. I would end this video here, but I hope to make more of these videos to show the interesting bits of this platform. I realize I'm doing a very poor job at showing some of the ways APItoolkit really revolutionizes backend development, especially if you have to just manage and maintain an app. There's nothing that beats just looking at the exact request a customer, when a customer calls your support and says, oh, this thing was broken, I tried to do this and it did not work. Nothing beats just coming to see what exact request was this customer doing that made them get that error. And when you even see the error, you can of course see the exact stack trace to identify exactly where the error came from. So nothing beats having this kind of information when you have to debug an issue. Okay, I'll stop my video here now, and hit me up, send me messages, sign up, ask me questions. I'm always available.